Hello and welcome to Exercise for Everyone. This is Lesson 3, Hamstring Stretches. Lesson 3, Part 5. 15 hamstring stretches in a standing or kneeling position. In general, hold each stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. Modified standing toe touch. I am modifying the classic toe touch stretch by placing my hands on something in front of me. Although I've used the stone wall at the park, more traditional places would be a chair or an exercise bench at the gym. By having some place to put my hands like this, I can use the strength of my arms to support the stretch so that I don't go too far. If I feel I can advance the stretch, I can always drop down to put my elbows and forearms on the bench instead. Additionally, if I have any concerns about my lower back, I can use my arms to help me out of the stretch rather than having to use my lower back to lift up from the stretch. Standing toe touch stretch with my back rounded. This is the classic toe touch stretch we've been doing since elementary school. Please note here that my knees always remain slightly bent. Do not hyperextend or lock them. If I have tight hamstrings, I'm probably going to need to round my back when I do this stretch. However, make sure your back does not hurt. Standing toe touch stretch with straight back. Now, rather than rounding my back to lean towards the floor, I'm hinging from my hips. When I do this, I'm lifting slightly with my tailbone up to the sky, and that way my hamstrings are getting a fuller stretch. Standing toe touch, beginning from a tuck position. Not everyone can do a standing tuck position, as it can put a lot of pressure on the knees. If you have hamstrings that are tight, you may want to try this way though. Due to the changing angle, you could get a fuller hamstring stretch from behind the knees all the way up to the hips. Yoga blocks would be great under your hands for this stretch if you need a modification. Standing toe touch stretch with feet hip width apart. By moving our feet hip width apart, we may find that we can reach further down towards the floor when we do this hamstring stretch. Additionally, we might feel it in a slightly different place down our hamstrings when our feet are slightly apart like this. Try it for yourself both ways and compare. Standing toe touch stretch with your legs crossed. By crossing the standing legs, we are going to feel this hamstring stretch is harder this way. The tension will be greater on the leg crossed behind. Therefore, make sure you do the stretch once with one side and then stand up, recross your legs and do it again once on the other side. Standing toe touch with your legs staggered. Now, the pressure behind the front leg will be much greater than the pressure down the back leg. Therefore, make sure you do 2 sets of this stretch, one with each leg in front. Standing toe touch with arms crossed and hang. If you have the flexibility to do a toe touch and reach down to the floor with your hands, you may want to try this variation. I've simply crossed my arms, and that way I can fold further forward into the hamstring stretch. Standing toe touch stretch with one heel on ballet bar or picnic table. Classically, this stretch would be done in a dance class with your heel up on a ballet bar. However, there's no reason not to do it any place you feel like you have a secure place to set your heel up. Please note that neither my standing leg or my extended stretching leg are locked. My knees always remain soft and my hips remain square and never twisted. Standing toe touch stretch with one leg on a ballet bar or picnic table. In this variation, rather than just placing my heel up, I've placed the entire back of my leg onto the picnic table. That way, There's support behind the back of my knee, and it will also be easier to balance. Back rounded. Standing toe touch stretch with one foot on a bench, step, or chair. I know I'm using a stone wall to demonstrate here and not a bench, step, or a chair, but the principle is the same. Back straight. Standing toe touch stretch with one foot on a bench, step, or chair. It may be hard to balance in both this stretch and the previous one. If you feel unsteady, this might not be a good variation for you. Also, be sure not to lock your knees. Kneeling, one leg toe touch stretch, back rounded. This stretch is more challenging than it looks. It's very hard to balance in a kneeling position. And for those that are uncomfortable kneeling, of course the stretch would not be right for you. One additional note in doing this stretch, please make sure you do not drop your hips towards your heel. Always stack your hips over the knee that you're kneeling on. Kneeling toe touch stretch, back straight. With a flat back, you should be able to actually bring your hands all the way down to the floor. This will aid in your stability, allowing you to relax and get a better stretch. Yoga blocks under your hands could be a great prop in this stretch. Kneeling to standing, split leg toe touch stretch. This is a very active, athletic way to stretch that you may see in sports classes or in dance classes. If you don't have enough flexibility to do a basic toe touch stretch, this might not be the option for you. If you encounter this stretch in a group fitness class and you don't feel comfortable participating, maybe try one of the previous stretches instead. Thanks for watching! In part 6 of this lesson, we will look at active ways to stretch your hamstrings.